Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first session of our week. We are going to be talking about Google Hangouts Meet. So, a couple of things up front. One, this is very casual. This is introductory. The best way for you to learn any new tool is to just mess around with it. So, we're going to get people into the tool, be able to talk about it, and then explore on their own. Other thing is that Google is terrible at their naming conventions. So a lot of these tools have similar names, they get confusing, so just stick with us. We're talking about Google Hangout Meet, which is the way to set up a virtual meeting with video conferencing or phone call ability. That's what we're talking about today. So the first thing I want to show you is one of the two ways that you can get to this tool. The one way is to go directly to the app. And you get there by going to the squares up in the top of your Google account. Click in there, and you'll see this one that says Meet. Okay, that's how you get there. That's one way to get there. Once you're there, you can kind of see that these are the different meetings that I have scheduled. I have a schedule here. Or I can start a meeting. And this is what I recommend everyone do to try this out. You can start a meeting and not invite anyone, so you have a chance to explore it. We'll just call this one Just for Fun. And you'll see that my video will pop up, and I have a chance to kind of get ready before I join the meeting all the way. It's like Inception. So a couple of things right off, you can see I have a microphone icon. If I click that, I can turn off my microphone. When you are in these meetings and there are lots of people, the camera or the main camera for the meeting goes to wherever there's noise. So if you have somebody that's rustling paper or something like that, the camera's going to shoot over there. So if you plan on listening to the meeting, just make sure to click that so that your microphone is off. The other feature here you have is the camera off. I'm not going to turn the camera off because I'm recording a video. But if I clicked on that, just my icon would show up. So for a lot of people, that's just the letter of their name, or it's an image that's picked up. And that's fine too. If you are in a setting where video is not appropriate or not safe or whatever it is, then that's a feature that you would want to use. Over to the right, I can join now, or I can present. Presenting means showing what's on my screen. So if I want to do that, I can click present and I can show something on the screen. And then there's also this, you can join by phone feature. So that gives a phone number and all those things. Let's join it and I'll walk you through kind of what's in the meeting. So you see right away that this is how I can get other people into the meeting if I want to. I can copy that information. I can add people down here right away. Very straightforward. If I click this, copy joining information, it just copies it to my clipboard and I can email it to somebody right away. Or I can tell them in another way. Or I can add people here. I can invite by email, or I can call them and invite them. And now I'm in the Hangout Meet. And as you can see, there's some features down here. Let's explore them. So this is just the name and the details. And I can add attachments to this meeting. So if there are documents that I want to add to the meeting for anyone that's in the meeting to access, I can put them in here. Down here, we have the microphone again. That's where I can turn off my microphone. This is where I can leave the call. This is where I can turn off my video. I can turn on captions. I've tried this a couple times. It's not super accurate. It can be entertaining though. Present now, if I clicked on this, this would allow me to show you my screen. And I'm not going to do that because I have several different things up and I think it would be confusing. These three dots, this is a very important feature of Google Hangout Meet. We have set it so that you can record the meeting. Now, here's why this is valuable. If you are doing daily Hangouts with your class, let's say, not all students are going to be able to access it at the time that you are doing that. That's called synchronous online learning. That's not something that's feasible for everybody. Maybe you're lucky and maybe everybody can join, but if not, this is a way you can record the meeting and it will save to your drive. So you will have a video file in your drive. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. One is that when you are in this meet, you need to think about photo permissions. If you have students that have had no photos allowed, then you need to consider that in this process as well. that video that's created of your meeting, you want to make sure it's safe because it will have student names on it, student images within their homes, potentially, things like that. So keeping it in your Drive folder is probably the safest place for it to be, and sharing it with your class via their Google accounts. You can change the layout if it's bothering you. You can mess about and move it all to different places and figure out which one works best for you. What else is down here? You can go to full screen. You can mess with settings. You can use phone for audio, and there's a help button. The help button's actually pretty helpful. There's some good tips in there, so be sure to check that out. Also in your Meet, this shows you who is in the meeting. Okay. Now it's just me in this meeting right now, but if there were others, there would be all these images with names down here, and you could see them. One of the fun things that you can do, and I'm going to show you this in a little bit, is teachers are able to mute people in the Meet. So you're able to mute their microphone. Only they can unmute themselves, and they cannot mute each other. Just a little classroom management tip there. The other feature that I think is pretty handy is this chat column over to the right here. This is where you can add text. A way to use this within your classroom management strategy would be to have students type here when they have questions or things they want to contribute. Because when everybody has their microphone on and everybody's trying to talk over each other, it's a management problem. So one of the ways that we're using this in our administrative meetings is that we have a facilitator, which in your case would be the teacher, and then we have a co-facilitator that monitors the chat. So that way people have a chance to ask questions as we're going, raise their hand, things like that. It's a good management strategy. So if a student has something to say, they might type in there, I have a question about this, or I have something to share about this, and then you'll be able to call on them. They unmute their mic, they contribute, they mute again. We use the chat. And that is really what's in Google Hangout Meets. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, can we use Zoom? My formal recommendation is not to. Not because it's a bad tool, it's awesome. But there are a couple of things that make it a concern. One is that it's not clear that it should be used with students under the age of 13. So there's some liability things there that make me wonder. Two, we don't have a district license to it, so it's not something that we have control over, or we have a contract with them, or we have any of that stuff. Whereas in Google Hangout Meets, all of that is covered. It's all within our domain. I know what's going on. I can help you. I can support you. If you use Zoom or another tool, I can't. So I think Google Hangout Meet has all the tools that you might need. And so I feel pretty comfortable with it. Now, let's look at the second way that you can get into Meet. I'm going to leave this one. And the second way that you can get into a Meet is to set up a calendar invite. So this is Google Calendar. So I might put an event here. Let's just call it Hangout Fun. And I'm going to add someone to this. Let's see here, add guest. So I'm going to add, let's see, Grant. Oh, he'd love that. Let's add Grant. Now, when I do that, you'll see right here, Hangout Meet, join Hangout Meet. There's a URL that I can now capture for that Hangout that I've scheduled. And Grant will receive all of this information as well as a guest of this Hangout. There's a meeting ID, and there's a phone number to call with a PIN. I can also add a live stream, which I wouldn't encourage. That means that it would be publicly streaming and people could see it. But if you had something that you were presenting and others weren't joining, that might be a feature that's important to you. But all of these are accessible ways for people to join the Meet. Grant would be the only one getting this. All right. So let's see. Let's see what happens here. I'm not going to save this one because I already have one going in Calendar. So this is what I have one. I've organized it with myself. So I'll be the other member of this Hangout. I'm going to join it. I'm going to get ready. I'm in the Hangout. I'm the only one here because my other self hasn't gone here yet. So I'm going to go join now from my other self. Now you can see that I'm in a Hangout with myself. So I'm getting audio from both places. But what you can see here is how two people line up. And I can pin him, me, so that his picture stays over here. I can remove him from the call because he's being rowdy. Or I can chat with him. And that really is most of Google Hangout Meet. It is a wonderful tool for us to be able to continue to meet together as colleagues, but also to be able to connect with our classrooms. Explore, keep it simple. I keep saying this over and over again. It does not have to be complicated to be effective. Keep it simple for now. And as you get more comfortable, you're going to innovate and you're going to find new ways to use this tool. I hope this was helpful. There's also a guide sheet in the post, so be checking that out and give it a try. Have a hangout with yourself or a colleague today before the chat this afternoon. We are going to have a Google Hangout meet at 1:30, where we're just going to share ideas and people will be able to ask questions, things like that. The link to that hangout is on the original document, which will be in the post as well. So just click on that around 1:30 and join us. Thank you very much.